Lotion.
Look up on the wall, there on the floor, under the pillow, behind the door. There's a crack in the mirror. Somewhere there's a hole in the window.
What a classic we all saw last night. Man, what a game. I think it's one of the best college football playoff games ever since they started this format with two teams, known as the playoffs. 6 lead changes in the game, 4 in the fourth quarter. Heartbreak for Ole Miss fans. I feel for them today. And the lingering question, was that final Hail Mary play PI? Was it pass interference? That will be debated for generations, because we'll be talking about this game for a long, long time. We're busy today. We've got picks we will make. We're already 0-1 for the week now because both of us took Ole Miss. And, of course, that line was 3, and Miami won by 4. We'll pick Oregon and Indiana and all the NFL games. Then we've got Andy Schiffman on the NBA. And then we've got Jonah Dillon on Tiger football and the portal and the new staff and all that is coming with that. So this will be a busy Friday. But let's go back to the Ole Miss-Miami game. Hurricanes kept Ole Miss in the game the first 3 quarters. After 3 quarters, they had dropped 4 interceptions and had 9 penalties. They ended up with 10 penalties in the game, and I know a lot of Ole Miss fans think there should have been an 11th. The reason Ole Miss lost this game, in my estimation, is because they could not convert on third downs. They had 10 third down plays. They had 0 third down yards. That, and they couldn't protect Chambliss all that well. He was hurried for the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, I don't know if it was fatigue. I don't know what it was, but Chambliss and the Rebels definitely got rhythm. But up to then, they could not sustain drives, which meant that Miami had the football for 41 minutes and 22 seconds, which means the Rebels had it only for 19 minutes and 38 seconds. And that is a recipe that spells a loss. Lacey had that big run, 73 yards, and then he was injured. I'm not sure he came back the same. But Chambliss was really great in the fourth quarter. I felt bad for him. 277 total yards, under duress a lot of the times, 1 touchdown. Now, I believe the rules analyst for ESPN basically said 99% of the time on a Hail Mary pass, especially in an instant like this where there was, I think he said the word mutual combat. I've read it also as mutual contact, but there was chicken fighting both ways around, and 99% of the time on a Hail Mary, you never get a PI call. And I'm not sure that you could on this one. First off, when he threw it, I thought it was going to be out of the end zone. Then there was a chance for possession, but there was a lot of physical contact. Landon Schmidt, I ask you straight out, if you were the official, would you have thrown a flag?
100%.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I would not.
Well, I think it would almost be, and they ended up making the right call, but that first targeting where they reversed it against the Ole Miss guy,
yeah,
and there was a lot of discussion on, that should have been a targeting call.
Well,
that was not. The dude was making a play for the ball, and it was contact.
So there were 2 targeting calls, and Ole Miss got the best of both of them, correct?
Yes.
They got the one erased where there is absolute helmet-to-helmet contact.
Yeah, but I think he was making a play for a ball, and they collided. I don't think that was actual targeting.
And then the second one, where there is no head-to-head contact, but there is shoulder.
I think they went off of there was a lunge.
Yeah. So I think Ole Miss got the benefit of the doubt on both those, because I'm not sure I would have seen that both ways. So I don't have a dispute with that. I just think, first of all, there were inconsistent pass interference or non-pass interference calls the whole game. And on this play, where everybody's going for the ball, and I got to tell you, the Ole Miss receiver definitely is. He's making contact too. On a Hail Mary, I don't see a PI. I just don't. And I understand if I were an Ole Miss fan, I would be heartbroken and I would be saying the same thing.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm trying to be as objective as I can. I was for Ole Miss to win this game. It's a local story. I love Chambliss' story. I love the way Pete Golding took over. There was never a problem, really. I don't think Lane Kiffin would have made one bit of difference in the Georgia game, in the Tulane game, and in this game. Pete Golding showed he could be a head coach. So one of the great outcomes of this is the Rebels know they got a good guy. And if he can recruit and find an OC that would be anything like Charlie Weiss, they're good. They're good. He can absolutely coach.
And Pete is his resume is already incredible. 2-1 against Tulane, Georgia, and a very close loss to a very good Miami team.
Yeah. I look, when there were 18 seconds left, did you think there would be any chance that they would have that kind of
Absolutely
opportunity?
Not.
And that's credit to Chambliss and Charlie Weiss and those players. That was really terrific. But anyway, for me, on a Hail Mary, where there's both players chicken fighting, I'm not calling a PI. That may be me, and I don't mean to upset any of the Ole Miss fans because I'm sure they see it differently. And I don't blame them, and it'll be debated for years. But I think the non-call is the right call. And now we got Oregon, and we have Indiana tonight in a rematch where Indiana handled Oregon easily in Eugene the first time they played. So this should be a lot of fun to watch for sure. So let's get into the picks. Coming into the week, I was 39-34. You were 32-41. Now I am 39-35. You are 32-42 because we both lost taking Ole Miss last night. Let's start then with the final semifinal played today in Atlanta, Peach Bowl. Oregon, Indiana. Indiana gets 3.5. This is on a neutral. They won by more than that in Oregon. I love Dan Lanning. I would love to see Oregon do the job, but I think Cignetti and Mendoza and that whole team, which is so complete, I think they're going to be national champions. I think they will beat Miami. I'll tell you that right now. We'll wait for that pick next week, but I think Indiana takes care of business.
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually have Indiana as winning the national championship this year, but for the sake of these picks and trying to get ahead, I will go the opposite direction.
Wow, you're going to go
with
Oregon.
Oregon to cover.
Okay. I'll go first every time, so you can go contrary. It's okay
this is
with me.
gonna help me.
It's okay with me. All right, let's get to the NFL. And we'll go in order of the games being played. On Saturday, the opener, the Los Angeles Rams, 10.5 at Carolina. I think the Rams win the game. 10.5? I think that's too much. Particularly, you're a 10.5 roadshow ball game? No way. Not 10.5. Too many. Give me Carolina.
So I'm immediately going to contradict myself because there is a very convincing conspiracy theory on how Carolina could likely make a good run in the playoffs this year, of how a certain number of things have lined up for them. I've talked about it before, but for the sake of all this, the point spread, Carolina is playing at home, certainly covers that point spread, I think. So yeah. I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with the point. I'm going to go with Carolina.
Well, that's smart of you. Now, you probably go the opposite way as I do on this. So Green Bay gets a 1.5 on the road in Chicago, where we've had 2 games this year that went down to the final possession. So the point spread is correct. I think the Bears are starting to become a special team. Obviously, they have some defensive deficiencies, which worries me in this game. If the Bears lose this game, it's because the Bears just can't stop passes deep and over the middle, and Love takes advantage of that. But I'm going to go with my heart here, and I'm going to say that's not going to happen. Caleb Williams is going to have a heck of a game. The Bears are going to turn Green Bay over because that's the one thing we know this defense does do. They're the best turnover team in the National Football League. They're going to do it again to the Packers. I think there's only been one turnover in both the games. So it's kind of a crazy stat for sure. Maybe the Bears are due there. I'm going Chicago.
Yeah, Kevin Byard, former Titan, is the guy who's, I believe he leads the league in interceptions this year. So very, very good pickup for you guys. With a point spread like this, it's basically kind of a pick 'em, and for the sake of the picks, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go Green Bay.
Of course you will.
Nothing against you and your Bears. I
got
promise.
you.
I promise.
Here's another one that's close. Buffalo at Jacksonville, game and a half, a point and a half is the line on the game. The Jacksonville's the home team again. You know, just on paper, even though Jacksonville has really been super. What's their winning streak? 8 games in a row?
I think so. Finished 12-4.
Trevor Lawrence has been outstanding. Here's the thing about Buffalo. They're just so inconsistent.
They are.
If Buffalo shows up and plays great, they can win the game by 10 points. But I never know. And I'm going to go with a hot team at home. I'm going home team strictly on this one. I'm going to go Jacksonville. I think this might be maybe the hardest game to pick.
I think so, too, because I can see it going both ways. But I think a lot of this is going to have to rest on Josh Allen. If he shows up and he kills Jacksonville with his legs like he has done to so many teams and plays up to the competition that is Jacksonville, I believe Buffalo can edge this one out, so I'm going to go with the Bills.
Okay. So we are differing. Let's see. We differed on
all except
Oregon,
Carolina.
Indiana. Carolina was the same, Green Bay, and now Buffalo. Well, here we go. I feel pretty good about this one. This one I think was the easiest of the picks. Although the last game is pretty easy too. San Francisco playing terrific. San Francisco is on the road in Philly. I'm not sold on Philly. The line is 5.5. Eagles favored. I'm going to go road dog on this one. I think San Francisco can really move the ball. I'm a believer in Brock Purdy after what I saw against Chicago. Now, Philly's defense is better than Chicago's defense. I give you that. But I think San Francisco getting 5.5 points. I'm all over the Niners.
I agree. I think San Francisco definitely makes this game a whole lot closer than I think Philadelphia is expecting. But I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to go with the home favorite here. I think Philadelphia at home is just going to be a little bit of a tall task for San Francisco, so I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Okay, so we differ on that one, too. That's 4 of the 5 we differ in. The Chargers at New England. The Patriots are 3.5-point favorites. I believe in Drake May. I believe in Mike Vrabel. I there's no doubting how good Jim Harbaugh is as a coach. They got a really good quarterback, too. But this is in New England. I think it's their year, at least, to get past this first round. I mean, this guy, Vrabel, is a great coach. He's turned around that program. They were the worst team, one of the worst teams in the league last year. I know a lot of people go, well, you got to have the scar tissue of the playoffs. It'll be the next year they're really good. I'm going to say they're really good this year. They got them at home. I don't know what the weather's like. Could be a factor. Because San Diego's used to playing and practicing in San Diego, far cry from the Boston area. I'm going to go with New England in this. I'll give you the 3.5.
Yeah, I'm going to be right there with you. This Chargers team for me is a lot like Buffalo in the fact that they can be very inconsistent. They have a lot of ups and downs. Justin Herbert is one of the greatest regular season QBs, but when it comes to the postseason, he is consistently underperformed. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with the Patriots here.
All right, so we agree finally. And then lastly, Houston -3 at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's lucky to be in there. And it's only a field goal? Aaron Rodgers is going to be running for his life, I'm afraid. My heart wants Pittsburgh because of all the Memphis connections on that team. Kenny Gainwell, Calvin Austin III, Arthur Smith. Mike Tomlin was a GA for the Tigers at one time with Tommy West. So I have a warm spot. I got a best friend from college that lives in Pittsburgh. I got a warm spot for the Steelers. But playoffs, you throw out warm spots. Houston's going to win that game.
Yeah, Houston has been playing incredible football since they started the year 4-5 and have just gone on an incredible win streak against a lot of great teams. CJ Stroud has definitely been really he's been playing really, really well. So once again, I think we're going to agree here, and I'm going to go with the Texans to just outright win this.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of the picks we disagree on. You could make some room, make some moves.
Little by little.
Yeah. There you go.
Not a lot of time left, but still a little.
Which is your favorite game to watch in this game?
Well, I'm definitely going to be watching the college football playoff tonight. I'm really excited to see which way this goes, because if it's anything like the rematch we got with Ole Miss and Georgia, I think we're in for some serious fireworks with another rematch in Indiana and Oregon. So really going to be looking forward to that. I think for my money, I'm definitely going to be most excited to see what Carolina can do, because they've been playing really good at home all year long, and they got the Rams coming in, really good team. They've got history backing them to at least make this a close game, so I'm just curious to see what they can do.
And the oldest rivalry in the National Football League, one of the oldest rivalries in all of sports, the Bears.
How could you miss
Packers.
that game?
I'm not missing that one. I'm trying to find a location in Boca where I will be for that game. I got to find me a sports bar, because that game is not on national on network TV. It's streaming on Amazon.
Oh, everything's streaming now.
Well, you like NBC games would be streamed on Peacock. CBS games, I guess, are streamed on Paramount, so you're getting both. In this thing, the only way you can watch the game is to have Amazon Prime, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
But Prime's easily accessible, at least in my experience.
Well, I have it, but I'm not going to be home. I got to find, and I'm not going to get it in the hotel. So
you can always log into your account, then log out when you leave.
I hadn't thought about that. I'm going to a sports bar.
That'll always work.
I think that takes care of all of my needs.
All the bases.
Yeah, I can't wait. What a week! Can you imagine all this football that we've got coming up?
It's incredible.
And I should
football.
mention the Tigers end a big game at FAU. I don't know what the line will be on that game, but this is one of those games. I cannot believe, as I started to do my homework on FAU, they have so many. I think they have 10 or 11 underclassmen, freshmen and sophomores on that team.
Wow. A
lot of them have transferred from different schools. Listen to this. Including the United States, there are 7 different countries that are represented by Florida Atlantic. It's a little like the South Florida women's basketball team. That coach used to always get all these South American players and all the different countries from Central America. Now he's in the WNBA. But this is what they've done at Boca, is they have gone and they've gotten a bunch of foreign players. And I'm certain, with these new rules, you can take a pro. And I'm certain a few of these are like that. But they're so young, I think it'll be, Memphis should be favored in this game. But we shall see, because, the one thing I've learned from this Memphis team, you never know, because they're apt to foul you or they're apt to turn the ball over. I know Penny wants to play a little bit faster, which means maybe more turnovers, but he wants more threes. They haven't attempted that many threes the last couple of games, so we'll see. I think he'd like about a third of the attempts at least, maybe more, to come from downtown. So that game is on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that. In the meantime, we take a break. We're going to talk a bunch of NBA, Grizzlies, and all that other good stuff with our agent from Chicago. That is Andy Schiffman. We will move the Family Leisure Studios from here to Chicago for all of that. He is from Priority Sports. And I remind you, we still got the hot tub and the swim spa sale going on. It's a clearance sale. Same thing with in-stock patio furniture. I've seen some places where now I think they've taken the furniture that's in stock. It's up to 70% off. Ask about it. Ask about special financing and tell them you heard this ad here. You get a free gift when you get a hot tub. And I know from past experience, when you get a free gift from Family Leisure, it's usually very, very valuable. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Southern Security. At Southern Security, you're going to get the lowest rates. Why? Because it's not for profit, so they can do that. You're going to get flexible terms, no PMI, and the best of service. And they've got this new building in Collierville that will wow you. It is the best financial institution building I've ever seen, plus which they have like meeting rooms, these beautiful open spaces with tables and PAs and everything. It's a community room. You can actually go and talk to the people at the bank and say, hey, I'd like to have this sort of board meeting for a good local cause, a community cause, they'll open it up to you for free. Just go talk to Dawn Grader. If you want to become part of the team, and there are 7 different locations now, including that one in Collierville, you can visit easily online at southernsecurity.org or call and talk to a human being at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is an equal housing lender. Federally insured by NCUA, they've been voted the best credit union in the last 6 years. The 7th is coming soon. Just head on over and see the good folks at Southern Security, your home team credit union. We take a break. When we come back, we are going to Chicago. Andy Schiffman's next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, everybody out there. Walker Taylor with Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Football season is upon us. Nothing better for your next tailgate party than a barbecue buffet spread provided by the Germantown or Collierville Commissary. Catering, self-serve or full, is a specialty of ours. No party too small, no party too large. You can check out our pricing and the items we feature at commissarybbq.com. Holidays will be upon us soon. At our Collierville location, we have a party room for 30 up to 100, perfect for family, business, or church functions. We also have a patio at the Collierville location, perfect in the fall for enjoying football and eating barbecue. Monday through Friday at the Collierville location, we also offer an all-you-can-eat buffet featuring barbecue pulled pork, ribs, fried chicken, and catfish. Each location also offers a $10.95 lunch special, a sandwich, a side, and a drink. Please come visit us at the original in Germantown by the railroad tracks or our new location in Collierville at Houston Levy and Poplar. And as always, go Tigers go.
To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Take me to the pilot of your soul.
Oh, yeah, we're piling on our way to Chicago. Our agent from Priority Sports is Andy Schiffman. Good morning. Happy New Year, Mr. Schiffman. I was a little worried you would not be able to make this show today because there could have been condensation in your meeting room or something like that.
Well, crazy what happened last night at this Bulls Heat game.
Yeah.
What you're referencing. But I'm actually sitting in a hotel room in Salt Lake City, staring out at some snow-capped mountains before I fly back to Chicago. So luckily that did not affect me.
Oh, what a tough life my friend Andy Schiffman has. All right, let's get down to it. You made a statement several weeks ago, which was embedded in my mind. You said, Triple J or Ja, when trading deadline comes in February, one of those would not be on the Grizzlies. It's now January, middle of it, just about. We're getting close. Do you still stand by that prediction?
Well, let me preface what I will say with this, Dave. And Landon and I spoke about this last week in your absence. I don't recall being as definitive as you make me sound to be.
Oh,
but
should we go back in the archives?
We got to go back to the tape. I don't think I absolutely stood in the table and said 100%.
Can we find that? Can we find that?
I can certainly look.
It's going to be on a Friday.
It's worth going back to the film room. And maybe I'll eat my words and be completely wrong. But I still believe, I think my point in all this, right? Like you got the upcoming trade deadline in less than a month. There's all these rumors now, obviously with Trae Young being moved to Washington.
Right.
It's going to kind of kick off this trade season. I still do believe if the Grizzlies want to remain competitive the rest of this way, I think they at least have to entertain conversations with Jaren and with Ja. I think around the league right now, Jaren has a lot more value. There's no question. And again, if you're Zach Kleiman, you're not going to give Ja Morant away for nothing. I think Zach has been notorious for really holding steady in his trade requests with other teams around the league, meaning he doesn't really cave on things. It's like, this is what I would want for this player, nothing less. And if you're not going to give me that, we're not going to work out a deal, bottom line. That makes it tough to get a deal done sometimes. Say that again?
Pete Pranico, who's the TV voice of the Grizzlies, made an interesting point. And I'm going to use this stat to reinforce it. Ja Morant is out for tonight's game. Okay? That means he will have missed 20 of 38 games. He's played in 18. He will have missed 20. In other words, he's missed more games than he's played. He's played a total with a guy who showed us he can be a game changer, your guy, Zach Edey. He's played a total of 5 minutes with Zach Edey this year. Should the Grizzlies just eat this year, or at least until the end, they could still make some form of postseason if everybody does finally come back? Should you eat any kind of trade deals and just say, we have no sample size. We got to see how these guys play together?
Look, I think it's worth it. I mean, right now they're sitting in the 10th spot. I think it's worth doing that, Dave, if you truly believe you can get a healthy Ja Morant and a healthy Zach Edey together. If for whatever reason internally in the Grizzlies organization, their training staff and their medical staff believe that as you look forward to the next 3 to 4 months of the NBA season this year, there's a lot of doubt that both of those guys will remain available. I think you have to explore the market, because one thing about Zach is he maintains his rhetoric about wanting to build a competitive team in Memphis. So you're not just going to sit there and sit in your hands and say, well, we're not going to do anything and just hope it works out. If there's a way to make this team better, he's going to explore it. I'm not saying he will actually move on any trade, but for sure he's having conversations. I just think right now, to your point, with his lack of availability and all of the off-the-court distractions that we've seen over the last couple of seasons with Ja, I don't think he has a ton of value around the league. Now, I will say, and it's kind of pivoting into the Trae Young conversation, a lot of people ask me, why would he pick Washington as his preferred destination? I think that's the PR pitch. The reality is, I think Washington was probably the only team that would take Trae Young. And they have an assistant GM on that staff that was the GM in Atlanta that drafted Trae Young. And Trae can go there and know he's going to have the ball in his hands and be the man. But I also don't think it's going to work out for him that well because I don't think they're going to really play him a ton. So with Ja, I do think there are other teams out there in the league that would love to trade for him. But again, if you're Ja, you are going to make it a priority to go to another competitive team. I don't see Ja being traded to some bottom feeder team. And so with that being said, if you're a contending team trying to make a trade for Ja Morant, you're obviously going to have to be expected to give up quite a bit for Ja, and you're going to take back a player who obviously when he is healthy is an all-star player, but that's a big if, right? So are you really going to sell everything in the kitchen sink to take back a Ja Morant with no assurance that he will be a healthy Ja Morant for the rest of the season? I don't think so.
Well, the whole thing is he ever going to be healthy? If you look back, I think the most he's ever played in a year is 65 games, and he's only done that once, maybe. I mean, his the best ability is availability, and his availability the last few years has been pretty darn rough. The 25-game suspension didn't help. But all right, so let me ask you this point blank. After tonight, it's 38 games played for the Grizzlies, 3 shy of the halfway mark. At the moment, they are in 10th. They have a 2.5-game lead on the Mavericks and the Clippers for the final play-in spot. They are literally 2.5 games away from the 8th spot, which is, a play-in, but you get a couple of chances with that play-in, and they're a little further away from Phoenix, which sits in the 7th spot. Do the Grizzlies make the play-in?
I think so. And you look at the teams below them right now: Dallas, Clippers, Utah, Sacramento, New Orleans. I think out of that group of those 5 teams, the biggest threats are Dallas and the Clippers. But I'm trying to remain optimistic. And so, to your point, if you expect Ja, let's say, to remain as healthy as he possibly can be and be available more so than not for the rest of the season, assuming he's not moved at the deadline, you're going to hopefully get a healthy Ty Jerome, a healthy Zach Edey back at some point, hopefully in the foreseeable future. So if you take these new pieces now, I think the team is significantly more powerful than they are right now, more than Dallas, more than the Clippers. Realistically, I think more than Golden State. Phoenix has surprised me. But I do think if you have a healthy Grizzlies roster, you can move up to the top 8. But I think out of those remaining 5, the biggest threats are the Clippers and Dallas. But I also have heard that the Clippers just are focusing on kind of tearing it down and rebuilding, and definitely, I think, exploring the trade market for James Harden. I would say with Harden, I would be probably a little more surprised if he doesn't get moved. I think Kawhi is going to remain there, but I think Harden could be on the move.
Wow. Well, Harden's moved around a lot, that's for sure. So, speaking of upcoming trades, what did you think of the Washington trade? And there's 2 other big names I got to ask you about: AD,
sure. Look,
and Giannis.
Yep. First, with the Washington trade, I did kind of laugh at the headline that Trey said it was his preferred destination, because I don't think I've ever heard any player say Washington was their preferred destination. I do believe, talking to executives as well, I agree. I think it's the only team that really wanted him. He has never proven to really be a winner. I think at one point he did take the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals, but in general, he's never proven he can carry a team over the hump. And I still don't think he can do that. And there's just a lot of toxicity with Trae Young in the locker room, et cetera. And now he's going to a team where honestly that kind of continues. And I think with Trae, he is comfortable in his own little bubble, going to a team where he knows he's going to be the man. And that's the case with Washington. And Atlanta gets back C.J. McCollum. They obviously need a point guard to replace Trae. They get back my guy, Corey Kispert. I think they're going to be pretty active in trying to move Luke Kennard, which would help, hopefully, Corey. So as an agent representing Corey, I'm ecstatic to get him out of Washington. And just as a basketball fan, I don't know. I mean, Trae, I don't know where his career goes from here. He's got a lot of money. And I think there is a world where the Wizards go to him and say, look, let's work out a deal if you opt out of your option next year to allow us some financial flexibility, and we'll reward you with a longer-term deal with a lower number.
I think he's got like 2 years left at $45 million each, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But I know he has a player option, so that's something to keep an eye on, and if what he does there. Because sometimes you'll see these guys like Trae opt out and then sign at a lower number, but for more years. And a lot of it just depends on his market at that time. And then with Anthony Davis, I saw him last night injured his hand against the Jazz, the game I was at. And I think everybody believes outside of Dallas that he is a very gettable player. He's owed a ton of money. I think that one situation that is intriguing is Atlanta. Now moving Trey financially, it opens them up a little bit more to be potential a landing spot for Anthony Davis. Chris Epps is very good. He's also been injured for quite some time throughout the season. I think they would really love to go and get a dominant five like Anthony Davis. So I think that's a team to watch. I also don't know if Dallas believes, where do we go with Cooper Flagg and building around him? Do we need to just continue to piece younger players together? Or is there a world where they hang on to Anthony Davis and really say, look, we have not seen the likes of Cooper Flagg, Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis all play together.
I agree with that.
And we want to see that.
But,
and so,
but the AD is always hurt. I hate to say it, but his availability is like John's.
No, for sure. It is. I think, though, he's just more coveted around the league, especially the way bigs are coveted. And, again, he's a 10-time All-Star. It's just I think the price tag could be a limitation. I'm very intrigued to see what happens with Dallas because I think they are going to be somewhat sellers at the deadline as they continue to try and build around Cooper Flagg, who's an absolute stud of a rookie, rightfully so. But they do have some question marks with the health of AD moving forward and what that roster looks like and what they can get back with him. So I think it's really 50-50 if he moves. I think a lot of teams are calling Dallas on AD, but I'm not so certain that Dallas is going to be quick to move him. And then with Giannis, obviously there's been so much turmoil in Milwaukee surrounding him. And I feel like we've seen this in years past, and I think that's just Giannis. I think he loves the attention on him, and then for whatever reason kind of comes back down to earth when he realizes he's created some waves. And I don't know if that's a message from the front office telling him to kind of cool down a little bit, or his agent or what have you, because obviously early in the season, we've seen the vocalness, let's say, of Giannis implying that he wants out of Milwaukee. And then just a few days ago, he says, look, I want to be here. I want to finish my career here. I want to win here.
Well, wait. Didn't he say it's just not in my nature to demand to be
yes,
to
exactly,
leave?
Which
I mean,
is a little
it's
bit
conflicting stuff. Yeah.
It's a hypocritical statement, So, I don't know. At this point, I think there's less of a feeling that Giannis has moved and more of a feeling that the Bucks are going to continue to try and build around him. Do they move a Cole Anthony? Do they move a Kyle Kuzma? One name that has been linked to Milwaukee is one of our guys, Michael Porter Jr. I think that he's a very attractive piece around the league because he's having an all-star caliber season. He is a player that has proven he can go in and be a second or third option on a contending team and be very good. And right now he's the first option on a bad Brooklyn Nets team, but that's less of an indictment on Michael and more just of the young, inexperienced roster he has around him because he's having a great year. So I think he's very attractive to a team like Milwaukee. I think he would pair well with Giannis. So at this point, I'd be shocked. And I've said it all along. I'd still be shocked, even if Giannis didn't come out with these statements recently. I don't think Milwaukee moves him before the deadline. If at all they do decide to move Giannis, Dave, I think it's not until this summer.
All right. Fair enough. Last thing. You mentioned Zach Kleiman. Dylan Brooks, Dylan the villain, came here. He was a great villain. He was their leading scorer. Of course, he took all the shots, so Booker couldn't. But he took some shots at Zach Kleiman. He said, Zach doesn't trust the players on his bench. 1. 2, they moved way too quickly on moving him, Steven Adams, and Desmond Bain. Your thoughts on those comments?
I disagree. And I'm not just saying that because I like Zach. I think there's a lot of factors that go into these decisions when you move off of players beyond just trusting the player. I don't think that Dylan is taking into account the long-term balance sheet of an NBA team, specifically the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies made certain moves to free up cap space, to free up the ability to go out there and renegotiate Triple J's contract. With the rules as they are in the NBA with these aprons now, it's very limiting. If you're a high-spending, high-payroll team, in what you can do during the NBA season to build your roster and get better, whether it's going out there and creating a trade, spending money, using your mid-level exception. The more money you spend, the tougher it gets to I guess, maneuver your roster, right? And so I think that Zach and the Grizzlies, in some of these moves they've made, they were also looking towards the future of how do we remain competitive, being able to kind of maintain and retain certain financial tools they have to help our team down the road. And it's not just like it was 5 or 6 years ago when you're sitting on a 5-year contract with no ambitions of trading these players. I think with Dillon, there's always been a lot of, I guess, question marks about him off the court, and he's having a heck of a season, right? But like even with the Grizzlies, I feel like he was always getting in scuffles. And I think that is one factor that goes into, well, is he a part of this long term or not? I think with Desmond, based on where the Grizzlies were financially last summer, they had to move one of the big three, and he was the one to go. And look what they got in return. They get off this contract. They get KCP. Okay, nice rotational player here and there. Cole Anthony, who didn't last. But they get a nice haul of future draft capital from Orlando. So I think that's a huge move for the Grizzlies to kind of, again, maintain your competitive balance moving forward. And I think that's something that Dillon didn't really take into account, in my opinion.
Did you watch the Ole Miss Miami college football playoff game last night?
So I was at this Jazz game, and I was keeping up with it on my phone. And then after the Jazz game ended, they showed the final 2 minutes on the Jumbotron.
So let me ask you very quickly. PI or not on the Hail Mary?
I don't think so.
I'm with you. I'm with you, but the debate will rage into each
Look, we got to root for the Hoosiers tonight, Dave. That's all we care about.
I think they're going to win. I've already picked them.
All right, I love it.
All right. I can't wait to talk with you about the national championship game then next week. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks a lot.
That's our man. That's Andy Schiffman from Priority Sports in Chicago. He's brought to you by Sheldon. What a season with coaches packing their bags, moving left and right. Sheldon's seen it all with Mark Spensdorf. He's been in the real estate business forever, and he's seen when someone has a house that won't sell, they fire their agent, and they grab somebody else. Ooh. Why do you do that? Before you have to fire an agent. And before you put your home on the market, talk to 2 or 3 real estate brokers. Make sure Sheldon is one of them. He's got a strategic marketing program involving preparation and presentation, and that makes the difference in when you make money and just how much. And if you're looking for experience, come on, you can't beat him. He's been around forever. When you're interviewing, find out how long the other agents have been in the real estate business. And do they do it 24/7 like him? And do they have that marketing strategy? It's simple. You just talk to him, and he'll show you how it is done. He can do it through his company's relocation network, and he's got that website, memphisrelocate.com. That's one way to get a hold of him. The other is 483-0546. You want the job done, you call Sheldon, 483-0546, or memphisrelocate.com. We head downtown. Jonah Dillon on Tiger Football. He comes your way next.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, folks. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I hope your new year has started out in a great way. I think we're all relieved when the holidays are over and life returns to normal. And normal means that special gift-giving occasions always roll around. Over the last 5 decades, we at Russell Brothers have helped thousands of Memphians turn those special occasions into truly memorable celebrations when a small box of exquisite jewelry from Russell Brothers is opened. Beauty, quality, value, and service are what we have offered to our friends and customers for so many years, and all of that is wrapped together in the stunning jewelry you'll find at Russell Brothers Jewelers. Whether you're looking for a very important piece of jewelry for a big occasion, or perhaps just a trendy, whimsical piece to make her smile, we can help you. Remember, beauty, quality, value, and service are our offerings to you every day for every occasion. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-660-1771. That's 800-660-1771.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. Let me ask you something. Are you seeing unsightly water spots on your ceiling? In your home, your office, or even worse, mold? Have you noticed shingles missing, pieces in your yard, or signs your roof just doesn't look right anymore? Here's the facts. What you see inside usually means there's already a bigger problem above you. At Metro Builders, we don't just guess, we inspect. Our team performs a full roof inspection right on site. We take detailed photos, document everything, and show you exactly what's happening with your roof. Whether it's a simple repair or a full replacement, don't let anyone tell you it needs to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. We offer free inspections, on-the-spot estimates, clear explanations, and yes, financing is available. Before a small issue turns into major damage, make the phone call that protects your home. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. We don't just build, we build world class.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We head downtown. Tigers football beat writer for the Commercial Appeal is Jonah Dillon. Good morning, Jonah. Happy New Year to you. Tigers have a new quarterback. What do you think of Marcus Stokes? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's definitely going to be an interesting kind of next couple months into spring practices to monitor, see how this is all playing out. I think the number one thing, we talked about this after Charles Huff's introductory press conference. He said many times the one thing he gave us, there was a couple things, but the top one was he wants a mobile quarterback. And if you go watch Marcus Stokes and his skill set and his highlights, he has the ability not only to move around in the pocket, but to run, design runs, things like that. That's what I would expect if you're a Memphis fan to see from him. It's hard to judge exactly. Now, Marcus Stokes, his 2 years of college were at West Florida, which is Division II. So obviously, he watches highlights. He's playing against a lower level of competition. The question will be about how that's going to translate. But he looks like he has all the tools. It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, he was a 4-star, right? Out of high school, was signed by Florida, was involved in a rap song that had a racial slur, and they pulled it. So one suspects he was good enough out of high school to compete at Florida.
Yeah, he was committed. I don't think he signed. It was during when he was in high school. When that happened, the situation, and obviously that led those off, not only the Florida offer, but all his other offers. There were a lot of schools after him. He was committed to Penn State at one point before he was committed to Florida. That all went away because of that situation. So like you said, he's a 4-star. Obviously, he comes with that, and he's addressed it in the past, and I'm sure we'll address it moving forward. That's the reason why he was at West Florida, because I know that's the first thing people probably wanted to know. Hey, this guy was a 4-star. He was committed to Florida. Why did he end up playing Division II football? He was a finalist for the Harlan Hill Trophy, which is essentially the Division II Heisman last year. So he had a really good year at West Florida. He had a lot of interest, not only from Memphis and Group of 5 teams, but from some Power 4 teams as well, once he went in the portal. And again, you watch his tape, it's easy to see why. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him. Do they think he's going to play the same type of stuff as he did at West Florida? But obviously, this is somebody they identified early and they wanted, and ultimately they got him to commit.
When Charles Huff hired the Old Dominion OC as his offensive coordinator, I thought for sure the ODU quarterback was coming as a part of that package. What happened there?
He went to Wisconsin. Ultimately, we look at a lot of these guys, I think, that are top-level quarterbacks at the Group of 5 level, as Colton Joseph, who you're talking about there, was at ODU. True dual threat, right? Rushed for over 1,000 yards last year at Old Dominion. They had a really good year. A lot of these top quarterbacks, I mean, you can even just look around this year at a lot of Power 4 starters. They come from Group of 5 programs. It's kind of a trend we've seen over the past couple of years of if you're a Power 4 school that needs a starting quarterback, a lot of times you're looking to an established starter from the Group of 5, maybe even before somebody who was a high-level recruit or who's young, because you've seen them do it. And that's true not only at quarterback, but other positions too. And so Colton Joseph obviously is somebody who I'm sure Memphis would have loved to have, but the money that Wisconsin or any Power 4 program has, most Power 4 programs, there's so much there, and so ultimately if he gets that kind of interest, he's going to end up going to that type of a program.
Charles Huff did sign another quarterback. I don't know how good this kid is. His name is Gardner. He didn't play at Southern, so he took a redshirt year. I guess he's young. Is he really in the mix, or is he a depth guy?
I think he's a depth guy. I think Marcus Stokes obviously is coming here to be the starting quarterback. Now, it's possible, and first of all, it's likely that Memphis will sign more quarterbacks. It's almost a guarantee, depending on what happens with the rest of the roster. But this was obviously the person they identified as this is going to be our guy, and so I think he's coming here expecting that. Now everybody's competing for every spot, and so I don't think he's been promised a certain job, or anybody has. But I would expect, to be honest right now, I think Marcus Stokes is going to be Memphis quarterback week 1, 2026.
Some of the other portal acquisitions that are intriguing to me anyway, the one Power 4 guys are wide receiver, Stonica Burnside from Mississippi State. They got a defensive player named Darius Malcolm Jr., who was at Wofford, who was an FCS All-American. So that's the division below the D1 Bowl series. Those guys look intriguing. Anybody else, or what do you think of those, and anybody else that strikes your fancy?
Yeah, I think Malcolm, obviously, that's an interesting one. Again, you're talking about productivity at a lower level. He was productive, I believe, freshman All-American. I'll have to check that. Another person who was a FCS freshman All-American that came to Memphis, linebacker from ETSU named Chandler Martin. So there's something to be excited about there. And by the way, Chandler Martin is I bring it up all the time because we talk about the portal and we look at these guys and, they came from a Power 4 school, or they were a 5-star recruit, and you should be really excited about them. Nobody talked about Chandler Martin when he committed to Memphis. Nobody talked about him even in the offseason in the summer before that. His first season here, and then obviously he became basically Memphis' best player, someone who was a 2-star recruit nobody wanted out of high school. So you never really know, even in the portal, when guys are being signed. I think Mike Montgomery, there's a lot of Southern Miss guys, obviously, who signed with Memphis. Montgomery's one I would definitely pencil in as a projected starter, at least as of now, 105 tackles, I believe, last year for the Golden Eagles. So there's a lot of the Southern Miss guys, and a lot of them are just going to be depth guys. I think it's important to note that. But some of them are going to play major roles, I would expect. And just based on his productivity, I would think he's one of them.
Who on the roster from last year that has eligibility, who's left?
Yeah, I was trying to go through the other day and kind of just pick out, it's almost like who's not in the portal instead of who's in the portal. I don't know the exact numbers right now because some guys, are in, but they haven't announced yet. I haven't seen announcements from guys like Brady Clues or Cruz Law. There's some guys. Those are two guys right there who obviously they would want to keep.
I'd take them both. I'd take them in a heartbeat.
Yeah, there's a ton of guys who obviously they would have wanted to keep, but those conversations have been ongoing. I know they had conversations even with some of the guys who left. But ultimately, you're looking at a lot of these guys who have left in the portal, and they're going to power conference schools, right? So it's not surprising. Kamari Wilson, Gianni Spedic, all the guys who went to Arkansas, like Sutton Smith. Some of those guys are going to be they're going to those programs to be major contributors. Malachi Brulin goes to Arkansas. I would expect him to be a starter at Arkansas. And obviously Sutton Smith, you'd expect to play a big role. AJ Hill. At quarterback, that'll be an interesting one to monitor. They're going to have a competition there.
Well, that's interesting. I'm glad you bring those three up. Malachi Brulin, I get. I mean, that guy is a really good player. I knew he was going to go somewhere beyond Memphis, and why not follow your coach? But A.J. Hill didn't get any real chance here with both the head coach and the OC. Same thing. Sutton Smith was taken off punt returns. He started to see his running taken away. He wasn't getting the same amount of touches. He might have gotten a few more touches as a receiver, but not as a running back. I was a little surprised he went with that combination of Ryan and Tim Cramsey.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not super shocked. First, with AJ Hill, he redshirted this year, so he has 4 years of eligibility left. I don't think that anything necessarily didn't go to plan. I think once obviously Brian Lewis came in to be the starter, there was never really a point where you thought AJ Hill was going to start right away at Memphis. And obviously he understood that and was somebody who was penciled in as a potential future starter or whatever it was. And so now he has 4 years of eligibility, and he's gotten a year in their system to develop. So I think that they all understood that was the situation. Sutton Smith, I know there's a lot of people unhappy with the role that he played, especially down the stretch. As we talked about throughout the season, there were a lot of reasons for it. There's only so many carries to go around with Greg DeWosier once he came back. Yes, he got pulled off of some things, and he didn't get the ball as much as people would have liked. Obviously, they wanted to keep him healthy, but I think he has a relationship with those guys. I mean, I remember talking to him in the offseason about it, and he's somebody who didn't even consider transferring last season. He could have left after last year, he could have left the year before, and he would have had this, maybe not the same level, but he would have had a lot of interest from our conference schools if he had left. He never even considered it because of his loyalty to those guys. And so it wasn't surprising to me to see that he wanted to follow them when they went to a SEC team.
Right. Biggest needs in the portal. I know Charles Huff was on with the morning team, Greg and Eli. He said D-line, although he's got everybody from Southern Miss's D-line transferred. What do you think are the biggest needs?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest needs are everything, right, because they're redoing the entire roster. It's important to start with that. It's not like, hey, we're going to replace this guy or we're going to replace this guy. It's like you have to assume that basically every single position is up for grabs. I think defensive line, because he mentioned that in his press conference, right, the things that he talked about, he talked about the quarterback and having a mobile quarterback. He talked about having speed on the outside. And then he talked about a defensive line, because the way that he wants to play defense with that 4-2-5 system, he needs guys up front who are going to get pressure on the quarterback, and he needs a lot of depth there. And so when you look at defensive line, you might get a couple guys. It's not going to be enough. You need a lot of bodies there, and that's important because that's basically how you're setting the tone for the entire defense. And then you essentially need 2 tackling machines at linebacker, and it looks like he has one of them. Obviously, the other one at Southern Miss last year was Chris Jones. He went to Ole Miss for next season, but I think those are the positions, defensive line. If you're going to build your defense around that type of a scheme, you have to have a strong defensive line.
You watched the college football playoff game last night, I'm sure. Would you have called a PI on the Hail Mary?
It's tough. I mean, I know both guys they're both pushing each other. It wasn't really open. Like, there were 2 guys in the end zone. I don't know that I mean, I think, look, if you say technically is it PI, yes, he's shoving him, but it's the last play of the game. They're both pushing each other. There's another guy there. I don't know that he would have caught it. I feel like it's got to be a no call in that situation. Imagine the uproar if they had called it.
I know. I'm with you, but there are some that will forever think that was a PI. John, as always, I appreciate it. We'll talk next Friday.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it. That's Jonah Dillon from the Commercial Appeal on Tiger Football. He's brought to you by Landers, Cadillac of Memphis. Yes, they're finally open with the new beautiful building. Just go in to see it. It's such a cool place. And you still can get grand opening savings on some of those new remaining 2024 Escalades. We're talking $20,000 in total savings. And you know, it's Landers, right? It's Cadillac of Memphis, right? It's going to be top dollar for trades. And you can save even more if you get the Landers Easy Pass at CadillacofMemphis.com. Don't miss out on exceptional sales all the time. Always check the website or listen to us. The best new Cadillac models always so fast. They go even faster when you go to Landers Cadillac of Memphis. Because remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid way too much. That'll do it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk a lot of football on Monday. In the meantime, to talk more about all of this, Johnny Radio's right